there was a guy on the other morning, James Max guy, and he was talking about refugees coming across the river, across the channel, sorry. And he was saying that for a huge majority of the British public, like he had a representative from Amnesty International. I don't think you can get nicer people than Amnesty International. And he has a rep from them on his show. And they're basically saying very cool-headedly, explaining to him why we have to take refugees in. And thank God that guy was on there and not me or any normal person, because any normal person who had to explain and re-explain and paraphrase and endlessly just say the same shit and explain stuff to people like this guy, like, yes, we have to take refugees. No, we can't back out of it. We've signed international agreements to say that we will do. They are legally binding. It's international law. No, it's not just us. It's France, Germany. Like the amount of refugees that we take in are dwarfed by the numbers that these other countries take in. So we're not just being saddled with loads of asylum seekers while everyone else just doesn't have to. Like, this guy was being really patient. He didn't have that tone at all. He was like, well, the thing is we've signed these agreements, and you could try to get the other countries to come to the table and renegotiate. He's sort of being very measured and consultative about it and laying out the options. But ultimately, what he's doing is he's explaining why we have to offer safety, refuge to refugees, to this fucking talk radio host. And the talk radio host goes, well, the majority of the British public are fed up with this. They don't want any more economic migrants, and so what you're saying is that we just have to put up with it. And the guy from Amnesty International just goes, no, that's really not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying we've signed an international agreement. It is the legal thing that we have to do, and it's the moral thing that we have to do as well. These people are not economic migrants. They're desperate. They're fleeing chaos and war, and oftentimes it's wars and chaos that we've created, so we have a responsibility. It's the moral and the legal thing to do. And then, anyway, so once he's explained all this shit cool-headedly to this guy, then the host just goes, well, it's a view, I suppose. Like, I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a view. Like, you said to him, why do we have to take all these people? He's explained with clarity, perfect clarity, why we have to take these people and give them refuge, offer them a place to stay, make sure that they're safe and secure. And then you just, oh, well, it's a view. Like it was maybe a hair's breadth away from him saying like, oh, well, if you really say so, it's like so petulant and non-intellectual, and it's so the opposite of journalism. I think that's what gets me about this shit. It's like, you can be an opinionista, you can get on Twitter and fucking rant and rave about how you hate refugees or whatever, but to be given a show on national radio that's supposedly news journalism, and then to just box up fact as like, oh well, like, not even really acknowledging it, just like, get a break. It's like the same tone as like you or I would when you get to the end of an argument with your wife. Like she's just talked your head off and like made you realize how wrong you are, but you don't want to admit that you're, oh, whatever. I mean, it's the refugees that I feel the most sorry for, unsurprisingly, because what are we, like 2 or 3 weeks ago since the implosion of Afghanistan, and it was all over the news, and everyone felt so bad and so shaken by the news stories and the footage, people falling off planes, people desperate, people having to leave members of their own family just to be guaranteed that they could get somewhere else and be safe because, I don't know, they had been an interpreter or they had served as security on the British embassy or something. They just had to grab a bag and fuck off. And they're checking the Sun, they're checking Sky News. They're like, wow, this Britain place seems really friendly. Like, they're all really cut up and the polls are shifting and saying how much they love. And then after, what, 2-3 weeks has it taken? They fucking, clamber across Europe or get off the plane or like go on a boat across the channel. They're like, I really think Britain's going to be really loving and compassionate for us. They get out at Dover. It's like, no, mate, fuck off. We were sad for you when you were over there. That sadness lives exclusively in Afghanistan. But once you come over this way, no, don't get it twisted. We will harpoon your fucking dinghy.